Well, hello everyone, and we welcome you to this new edition of News You Can Use here at LaSalle TV. I'm your host for this show. My name is Thera Martin Milling. Glad to be with you again. We find ourselves in the midst of African American History Month, and no better time than right now to sort of shine the spotlight on some history, some good histories of Philadelphia as it relates to the African American community. To help me do that, in the first segment, we're going to be talking with Mrs. Vernoca Michael. She is the executive director of the Paul Robeson House and West Philadelphia Alliance, Cultural Alliance in West Philadelphia, but she also is owner of the Blue Horizon, has been a part of the Blue Horizon history for years. She'll tell her story. And then when we turn the page a little bit later on in the show, we're going to shine the spotlight on the history of a gem called the James Shuler Gem, and Crystal Custus is here to help us tell that story and how they're remembering his name and keeping his legacy alive in West Philadelphia. So stay along for the ride on this edition of News You Can Use. We'll be right back. All right, to our viewing audience, thank you for joining us. We're LaSalle TV, and the name of this program, News You Can Use. I'm the host, Thera Martin Milling, and we're excited to welcome to our studios Ms. Vernoca Michael. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
You are an icon in Philadelphia history by yourself, and the history of your family and all that you've done. I know this isn't going to be enough time, folks, to tell everything. We're going to do the best we can. We want to spotlight something that's near and dear to your heart, the Paul Robeson House and the West Philadelphia Cultural Alliance. Those two entities are basically right next door to each other in West Philly?
It's really one and the same.
One big building.
The West Philadelphia Cultural Alliance is the organization started by Fran Austin, and she had the vision to be able to purchase the Paul Robeson House, which was actually owned by Marion Forsythe, his sister, and he came here to Philadelphia to stay the last 10 years of his life.
So that street, Spruce Street, in West Philadelphia is a very special piece of our history.
Well, that's Walnut Hill area.
Okay.
But that is a special area. For instance, my parents lived there, Dr. and Mrs. E. Raphael Michael. My father was an international missionary and minister. My mother was also an international missionary. And I say international because he was requested by the Queen of England to go on the first international interracial interdenominational exchange.
And this would have been in the 50s, the 60s?
This was in the 50s.
The 50s.
It was in the 50s, and that was unheard of at the time.
Right.
And also we had on that block 7 of the 76ers. We had the Campanellas, the Cunninghams, and of course, the late Paul Robeson.
Yes.
So that was a unique block.
And the reason that he ended up being in Philadelphia, like people might say, well, what was the attraction here? But he had a sister.
His sister lived right on the corner of 50th and Walnut. And when he moved from New York, living with his son, he moved here to Philadelphia to stay with his sister because his son knew that he would get excellent care staying with his sister. But one of the things that I always stressed to people was that while he moved here, he was not down and out. He was not bedridden. He was a man who was still up and vibrant when I knew him living there in West Philadelphia.
And so because of the clout of your father being so blessed and a mover and shaker in his time, a confidant to presidents of the United States.
Part of the civil rights movement, and very active in the community as an activist, not only here in Philadelphia, but throughout the United States.
So then it was not unusual to see somebody like Paul Robeson sitting in your living room chatting with your father, or some of the other civil rights leaders of that time. If there was a big action or activity going on in Philadelphia and the likes of a Dr. King or Dr. Abernathy, of those ilk of people, would come and they could rest comfortably at your parents' home.
Well, you have to remember that in those days, hotels were not always available. So the minister's house, and we had, I guess then you might call the mega church in Philadelphia.
Yes. What church?
That was Wesley AME Zion
Yes,
Church
yes.
at 15th and Lombard.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we had about 3,500 members at that time. So that people who came into town of note were usually pointed to our house to stay, and that's why so many of them
How
stayed
exciting. What a rich history. Anyway, all these years later, as Fran Austin was on her waning years with us on this earth, just before God called her into transition, she was making transition, and she knew that you had a piece of history that even she didn't have, as
That's
it relates to not just the Paul Robeson House, but with Paul Robeson, because you called him Uncle Paul.
Right. She knew that I knew him as Uncle Paul. You know, back in those days, it wasn't a situation when your parents were so close into people that you called them Miss
Yes.
or Mr.
Yes.
You called them Uncle and Aunt.
right.
So
That's
I knew him most of my life as Uncle Paul, and of course his sister is Aunt Marion. And she knew that. And she called me in to begin to talk about the years that he spent here in Philadelphia. However, what I've done recently is to broaden that out and talk about his mother's side of the family, which was a family that was unique because it goes back to George Washington. And it has rich history, and that's the Bastille family. And of course, it includes people like Nathan Marcel, who was the first African American to graduate from University of Penn Medical School and establish the Mercy Douglas Hospital. And then Sadie Alexander and Tanner, that we all know. So I wanted to begin to bring out that side of the family to let people know it wasn't just 10 years that he spent here. His family roots are here in Philadelphia.
We're talking with Vernoca Michael, and she is the executive director of the Paul Robeson House Museum and the West Philadelphia Cultural Alliance. They're all in one beautiful building together. How can people come and learn and see what's happening inside that place?
Well, all they have to do is to give us a call. We're usually open Thursday through Saturday from 10 to 4. Now, that's to say that I'm there every day, but those are days for tours that they can actually have tours of the house, and the new exhibit is now up as of last week. We do other things. For instance, we're getting ready to go to Washington, D.C. in April for a trip to the new Smithsonian Museum.
Wonderful.
We're also going to the Annenberg February 17th because there is a production about Paul Robeson that they will have. And so we've been working in conjunction with Annenberg
Now, will you utilize those events as fundraisers for the Paul Robeson House, or it's not even that kind of party? It's just a buy your ticket and go?
Well, for the trip, that is a fundraiser.
Good.
For the other things, we offer a lot of activities at the house just so people will know him, understand where he came from, begin to get familiar with his philosophy. So we have a lot of free activities that many people can come to.
Now, I know every year, I'm thinking it's in the summertime, late summer, maybe early fall, you do a jazz event out in the park.
We usually
or
have a jazz jamboree. This year, we won't be having it this year in April, but we will be doing something later on. We're doing a joint venture with the University of Pennsylvania Netter Center in April to showcase with Dr. Beaver and other people and Dr. Slatter there at the university. So that will be the thing that we will feature in April, and I hope people will stay tuned. And they can always call us at the Paul Robeson House at 215-747-4675. And we'd be happy to give them information about any of the activities that we have there.
Repeat that number again and a website, please.
Yes, 215-747-4675. Now, I'm not going to give you the website because I just took both of them down.
Okay.
And the reason for taking them down was because I felt that it was information that Fran had and Fran controlled.
Yes.
I need something that's up to date, smart, shiny,
Sure.
and so the students are working on
my.
a new website
And
for us.
we have 3 minutes left, but I did want to ask about the young people, because you are smart enough, visionary enough to know that we got to pull our young people up
Yes.
and bring them along with us. I know in past years there's been like writing camps in the
Yes,
summertime.
we have writing camps.
Still? Great.
Right now, we have students from many of the high schools in West Philadelphia.
Oh, great.
We have students in on Wednesdays and Fridays. You know, at the legendary Blue Horizon, I had one of the most unique learning centers. We also just celebrated the graduation day before yesterday of a young lady, a graduate student, Morgan Robinson, from Temple University. So I see us growing in that particular area and becoming that learning center, so that we will have students of all ages. We cater to students from 3 on up.
And the address for the Paul Robeson House is 4949-51 Walnut Street, West Philadelphia. And this lady owned the Blue Horizon for years, had great boxing matches happen there. That's another piece of history in Philadelphia. Real quick, can you tell us the status? Is it still up for sale or no?
Yes, it is up for sale, and we're under contract, so we hope to actually be selling it now. There have been some difficulties, but one of the things that we have done is to document all of the history related to the legendary Blue Horizon.
Boy,
And
we wanted you to
you
keep it forever, but I know that sometimes plans change and things change, but we're excited for the history you had there, for the years that you carried the Blue Horizon, and for all the great boxers that came through there.
Since 1994.
Well, I pray that whoever purchases it will love it, take care of it, and maybe make it even better than ever.
I think so. I think so.
All right, I want to thank you for coming
thank you so
very
much.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud to know you, and you'll have to come another time because you have so much history to share. It's amazing.
Yes, and I must say that we are sorority sisters, so of course we enjoy being a part of that organization.
Yes, indeed. Alpha Kappa Alpha till the day I die. Yes, indeed. All righty, so that's it for this segment on our program. We're going to come back in a moment, and we're going to talk with Crystal Custus, and she's going to give some of the history of her father and him being in the boxing world, and also the history of the James Shuler Gym, which her father founded. So stay along for the ride. We'll be back in a moment.
Action. You may think a guy would be producing this, but I can too. Anyone can find a cure.
Women are being downgraded for their physical ability, but you can be just as strong.
%20 of women are engineers, but it doesn't stop there.
I'm a tech girl. I'm a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
A prayer to St. Clair, the patron saint of television.
Oh, wondrous St. Clair, I ask that you bless my television with good reception and good color balance.
I also ask for your assistance in choosing quality programs that provide me with endless hours of enlightening entertainment.
Amen.
Your prayers have been answered.
You're watching LaSalle TV.
You know you watch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the program. If you just turned your television set on, oh my goodness, you missed Vernoca Michael. And she was here talking about the historic Paul Robeson House in West Philadelphia and the West Philadelphia Cultural Alliance, one in the same building. Really wonderful there in West Philadelphia. But now, as we turn the page and continue on the boxing arena side of the world, I'm so happy to be able to say hello and welcome to you, Crystal Custus. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yep, yep.
Thank you so
and it was
much.
so nice to meet you at the anniversary birthday celebration for
Yes.
Joe Frazier a few weeks back, and
Yes.
the Honorable Judge Jacqueline Frazier Lyde and her husband Pete Lyde, they've been doing this every year since he passed, and
Yes.
we met, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want you on the show.
Yes.
Yes, to talk about two things, and they're related: the James Shuler Memorial Boxing Gym in
Yes,
West
ma'am.
Philly, and your dad founded it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So talk about your dad a little bit, and
Okay.
give his name.
Okay, my dad's name is Buster. Everybody that knows him know him as Buster, but his first and last name is Percy Custus. He's from North Philadelphia. Grew up in North Philadelphia with James Shuler and his whole entire family. They met each other at Joe Frazier's boxing gym, which you know.
Yes.
They started boxing around like 12 years old together. That's when, you know, my dad was a little older than James, but he met him around when he was about 12 years old, and they called each other's cousins, as Ms. Michael spoke about how
Yes.
we are endearing towards
Family,
each
yes.
other, family.
Yes.
My dad has always been a community person. As far as I can remember as a little kid, he would, like, my dad was into traveling and going places, visiting art museums and places that a lot of kids on the block just wouldn't go. So if we went, he'd take his van, he'd invite the whole entire block, and here we go. Everybody's going
Yes.
to AC, everybody's going
Yes.
to the museum, everyone's going to the park. So when he bought the property on Brooklyn Street, he really didn't know what he wanted to do with it. It was a big farmhouse or stable or horse stable or something like
And this
that.
in
It was
West
2
Philly?
floors. West Philadelphia.
And the name is Brooklyn Street?
Brooklyn Street.
I'm
Nobody,
an original West Philly lady. What? I've never heard of Brooklyn Street.
It is, so it's right off of Lancaster Avenue, right before you get to 42nd. It's a
Okay,
small block
now I
before
know
you
where
get to
we are.
42nd.
Okay, now I know. Okay, I know
You
the
make
area.
a right, it's a one-way street. So initially he made the bottom portion of the gym or the property car dealership, and then someone, I can't remember who told him, someone told him, Bus, you gotta make it a boxing gym, man. You gotta make it a boxing gym. So he determined to make it a boxing gym and kept the old world charm to it, where there's still a lot of the original wood and metal and all that stuff. The
ambiance
beams
is still
yes,
there.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's very cozy and very clean. Because boxing gyms usually or typically are really rough looking, so our gym has like a cozy feel to it. Decided to make it a boxing gym, and then wanted to name it after James Shuler. So he went and got the good graces of Mr. and Mrs. Shuler, and they said, absolutely, you can name the gym in memory of James. James was a phenomenal boxer. He had a amateur record of like 158, which 158 of his wins, he won 158. 158 of his wins were by knockout, and that was like, I mean, 120 of the 158 were by knockout.
Yes.
He boxed in the Pan American. He boxed in the Olympics. Well, he was going to box in the Olympics, but it was boycotted at that time. He traveled all over the world, and he beat people in Italy, Nigeria, Russia, like all over the world.
He was doing it.
Oh yeah,
And representing from Philadelphia.
West,
I
mean
love
North
it.
Philadelphia.
North
Let me not
Philly.
get that
Okay.
wrong. From North Philadelphia.
Okay.
But from that, he went on to become a professional boxer, I think in 1980, and was a professional for 5 or 6 years before he passed away in 1986.
Too soon.
Way too soon. And I remember James as a child. He had a heart of gold. Also, as a little girl, I used to travel around with my dad to the different training camps.
Yes.
So, I mean, I've been around boxers all my life, and I can remember now as an adult, but when I was a young girl, it didn't register to me that I was around Muhammad Ali or Tommy Hearns or all those people. But when I got older, I said, wait a minute, I was around history like all my life, you know? So James, his record was, I think, 22-0 until his last bout that he had with Tommy Hearns. And he lost that bout to Tommy Hearns. And then about 4 to 5 days later, he bought a motorcycle and he got hit on a motorcycle accident. And I really do, we pay a lot of homage and tribute to James Shuler in our gym, on our website, wherever we go to speak, we speak about James because he was not only a boxer, but he, like I say, he had a heart of gold. He was like a gentle giant. And everybody in the industry speaks well about him. I never hear anything bad about him. That's a
wonderful thing.
I remember when he knocked the guy out and helped him back into the ring.
Wow.
This isn't a professional fight.
He,
you know, he welcomed him back into the ring.
And your dad's some kind of special, your family's some kind of special too, for what you've done and taking that vision to have a gymnasium, a boxing gym, professional boxing gym in the heart of West Philadelphia off of 42nd and Lancaster. A lot of our young people, our young boys in particular, I'm still thinking about the boys. I know that there are young ladies who like to box as well, but I'm thinking about the boys most of all, and their need to express themselves, maybe get some stuff off of their chest, some passion that they have inside, and rather than do it in a negative way or in an untrained way, to go to the gym can save lives.
I mean, we think about that all the time. A couple, not a couple, but quite a few of the young men come because they've been bullied, and boxing helps that, and where once you learn how the discipline of boxing, once you know how to hold your hands, once you build that camaraderie with the other guys in the gym, your confidence level grows. And then it seems that the bullying stops. They don't even have to go to school to fight anyone. It's because they carry themselves differently now. So then they don't have that bullying anymore. We've had young men come who see other parts of the world that they would never have seen because they come, you know,
to the gym.
How?
What's the earliest age your dad takes them in over there?
7.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
We think 7 is a good age where they have that good hand-eye coordination where that can begin. They have the discipline too.
Oh my.
So, I mean, you can do it when you're younger, but just for the purpose of giving them that one-on-one time, they need to be 7 years old.
Okay. Now, recently, you all kicked off a close look inside James Shuler Memorial Boxing Gym, an exhibit of photographs by Jano Cohen. And the kickoff date was January 26th, but this exhibit runs through March the 8th of 2017. So tell our viewing audience about that and how they can go, where is it, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So it is at the Gershman Y, which is the Jewish Y on Broad Street, right off of Broad and Pine. It is about 30 photos. The lady Jano came about a year ago where she was doing a photo for an auction at a gym in Chester, and then she fell in love with our gym. She felt that we were so warm and welcoming and family oriented that she stayed and continued to take photos of the gym. And the photos that she captured are phenomenal. I mean, you have you have photos of different age ranges, young girls, young boys training.
Oh, so there are some young lady boxing over there. Oh my gosh.
We have little girls
I'm
that
coming
are 7.
to see. Oh my gosh.
And they're focused.
Wow.
You could see the determination and the focus in their face. Most of the kids that come there are, you know, honor roll students. We have some that have gone on to college to have phenomenal degrees. So it's a place of resource, a place of growing, a place of encouragement.
Cool.
It's a wonderful place. I go there and I just shine when I go in there.
I love it. So give the address where this Gershwin Y is again so that people can come and take a look between now and March the 8th.
Okay. It's off Broad and Pine. I don't remember the exact address, but it's the Gershman Y, Gershman Y on Broad and right off of Broad and Pine. So it's Pine and then you go in like a couple of steps.
Now you all have the James Shuler Memorial Foundation. You're raising money for the foundation so you can...
So that we can update equipment in the facility. And also we want to start programs for the young people.
Oh, good.
That's something that I've been wanting to do all my life because I'm really big on education. I just want to show the young children and the young parents in the neighborhood that there are better schools that they can attend. There's resources. And I want to just show them, you know,
so
how
this is
they
above
can
and beyond
accomplish
the
it.
boxing, because you're
Yes.
already doing the boxing. You're doing
Yes.
boxing with children 7 years of age and up. But now you're saying, in addition,
Yes.
you want to create some special programs.
Yes.
I love it.
And we also own a daycare center, which is downstairs. And so some of the kids, once they get of age, they come up.
I know they
and
want to come
box.
in there. I know they're dying and itching to get in that ring. All right, phone number, website, or some way that our viewing audience can be in touch.
Yes. You can contact us via email at jamesshulerboxing@gmail.com. You can visit our website at jamesshulerboxing.com. And our phone number is, that's our direct cell phone numbers. So it's 215-416-1282. That's for Buster, and 717-421-0512. That's my phone number.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to just thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
so much for
I
having
appreciate
me.
you coming in, and
Yes,
it was so
ma'am.
nice to see the love in your family when Judge Jacqueline Frazier
love
Lyde
her.
and Pete Lyde presented you all
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
celebration for Joe Frazier recently. So that was very, very special
was
indeed.
phenomenal.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We
No
appreciate you,
problem.
sis.
Thank
and
you
we'll
for
be
having
staying
me.
in touch, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, we want to thank you for checking us out on this edition of News You Can Use. I am your host, Thera Martin Milling, and we hope you'll check us out again as we bring you some other great programming this way. And check out all the other great programs at LaSalle TV with the wonderful students and a few of us old heads mixed in between. But check out the students and the talent. They are the future of America. Stay with us, and remember, whatever you do, life is fragile. Handle it with prayer. Take care.